My lords, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the road to Waterloo. As the name of our presentation implies, this could be anywhere on the long, long road to Waterloo. Anywhere from the year 1808 through to His Grace the Duke of Wellington's ultimate victory against His Imperial Highness the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte at Waterloo on the 18th of June 1815. So this field you see before you could be anywhere, in Portugal, in Spain, in France, in Belgium. It matters not. Suffice to say that armies are on the march. Now, as is always the case with a long march, a tired army, stragglers fall out. Camp followers, the women, the children who follow the trail of the army, can't always keep up with the hard-fighting, hard-marching soldiery. The French cavalry, snapping at their heels, will do their work. A small, pitiful rearguard of King's German Legion riflemen attempting to put down a fusillade to stop the dastardly French from overrunning the womenfolk of the army. But what's this I see in the distance? They may be blue-coated horsemen, but these are the 15th King's Hussars. A huzzah for the King's Hussars, come to save the day. Sabre against sabre, sword against sword. A swirling, clashing cavalry melee develops. The odd pistol and carbine being used in the combat as well. And help is at hand. Our cavalrymen armed alone. Green jackets, men of the 95th Rifles, coming in at the famous rifle quick-step and swiftly marching onto the arena to occupy the high ground before Johnny Frenchman can make it his own. A huge French force now marches into the arena. Both light and heavy infantry, the light infantry of the Green Jackets and the light cavalry of the light dragoons have kept the French at bay to buy time for the main British force to march on. 2 whole battalions of redcoats. It seems as though the high ground is well and truly in British hands. From up there, the British redcoat, the Royal Green Jacket, can practice the musketry of which they are famed. The French themselves now beginning to open fire with their own light troops. And the deadly duel of light infantry, French voltigeurs versus British Green Jackets. Now the whole force of the British Army has now marched on, as I say, 2 full battalions of redcoat infantry. What sort of man makes up the redcoat infantry? Well, His Grace the Duke of Wellington had some words to say on the matter.
I don't know what effects they have on the enemy, but by God, they frighten me.
Now you can see that the British commander, not only has he dominated the high ground to give him the height advantage over the enemy, he's also making very good use of a tactic that His Grace the Duke of Wellington would no doubt approve, using the reverse slope of this ridge.
A smoke ring.
Those of you here behind the French forces will no doubt not be able to see very much of the redcoat line, for the self-same reason that the British commander has chosen to hide them on that reverse slope. He can then move his forces hidden left and right and pop them up where the French least expect them, and also keep them in cover from the withering fire of the French artillery. A fine, fine tactic. The French guns now open up a fearful cannonade, to which the Royal Artillery respond. The British commander has sent forward some redcoat skirmishers of his own. And the battle opens with a fearful cannonade. I can count 1, 2, 3, possibly even 4 Royal Artillery guns high up on that ridge. The French only have 2. But it's how quickly you can serve your guns that matters. There, the French are throwing forward light troops of their own. These highly trained marksmen will be attempting to pick off officers, NCOs, non-commissioned officers, sergeants or corporals. But now a new threat has emerged. A French column is marching up the hill. A seemingly irresistible steamroller of blue, marching beneath the Golden Eagle at the head of the column. The Golden Eagle touched by the very hand of the Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte himself. Beneath that flutters blue, white, red of the tricolour flag. Now the skirmishers are withdrawn towards the main British line, retreating in the face of this column to bolster the ranks of the thin red line. It may seem terribly fragile, that thin red line, but it has its advantages. Every single musket can be brought to bear and fired. Whereas in the French column, only the few soldiers at the head can bring their weapons to bear. And now we see the outcome. Flayed by musketry from the red ranks, the column stops in its tracks. Men retreating, covering their eagle, as volleys thunder out. And now the light dragoons of His Britannic Majesty's Army charge forward to ensure that the French hopefully fly into headlong retreat. But in good order they form the square. A square of infantry, like a porcupine, bristling with bayonet tipped on the end of the muskets, providing an impenetrable hedge behind which the French infantry stands firm, well disciplined, and see off the attack of the British light cavalry. Now the French themselves form a firing line, albeit some distance away from the British foe, and their musketry does begin to have a telling effect. Several redcoat soldiers slumping to the ground, falling victim to the French Charleville musket. And in the open ground between the two armies, one lone French cavalryman on his gleaming white horse rides forward. Surely he doesn't wish to parley or to surrender. What is he doing? And it looks as though a light dragoon has come forward to accept the challenge. Well, if we must, we must. Wait a minute, our light dragoon is brandishing a pistol. He's not drawing a sword at all. He's shooting at the Frenchman, but he's missed. Good Lord. This small cavalry aside has now finished. The grisly business of warfare can continue. Musket volley traded for musket volley. But still the French horsemen bravely charge on to engage the British foe. Square is a new tactic. With the horsemen so close, the infantry, the redcoats there, you see forming in protective clumps, facing out on four sides just like the Frenchmen did earlier. This does, however, make a tempting target for the French artillery, packed closely shoulder to shoulder. They are at the mercy of the gunners as soon as the lone French cavalry are out of the way. And now a second French column goes up the hill. The French commander forcing his men on. His first column attack failed. He's hoping to have put heart into his men and set them up in a second, hopefully unstoppable blue steamroller. But again, the same happens. Only a few muskets at the head of the column can be brought to bear, whilst every single British firelock can be brought to bear. And whilst some French soldiers stand their ground, many more flee back down the hill whence they came. And one of the British battalions is sent forward on pointed bayonets. A mighty British hurrah as they level their bayonets. Casualties do now lie strewn upon the field, but battle must go on. And the British line moves forward inexorably down the slope. You see the two battalions covering each other most neatly. On the 18th of June, the Battle of Waterloo, His Grace, the Duke of Wellington, was known to have said,
"Believe me, next to a battle lost, the saddest thing is a battle won."